You're on Red Hunt where one moment changes everything, just like what you're about to hear. I had a best friend for 7 years who I met through a mutual friend. I developed feelings for him early on after we met, but I decided to set those feelings aside because he was happily married, or so I thought. Towards the end of his marriage, we began to flirt and exchange intimate messages. I became very invested in this connection, believing that I might have a chance to be with him. As time went on, our flirtation intensified, especially after his divorce was finalized. We would have suggestive conversations on the phone, and he would tease me when we hung out. I was truly buying into the idea that we could become a couple. Throughout the years of flirting, we had multiple discussions about the possibility of dating and his emotional state. He consistently communicated that he was not looking for a relationship and did not feel capable of having romantic feelings for anyone. Although he set that boundary, I held on to the hope that if I waited long enough, he would eventually develop feelings for me and we could try dating. We even had a sexual encounter last year. He was always open and honest about his feelings, but I struggled to focus on the negatives. No matter how hard I tried, I could not let go of the hope that we would eventually date. At the beginning of this year, I was teasing him about our previous intimate encounters, and he casually mentioned that he now had a girlfriend. I was shocked and reacted strongly. I sent him one message in response and have not spoken to him since. This was in January. It is important to note that he had frequently expressed doubts about ever wanting to date again and his uncertainty about having romantic feelings for anyone in the future. Then out of nowhere, he started a new relationship without informing me. He was also aware of my feelings for him. In summary, I flirted with my best friend for 3 years, we shared many intimate moments, and he frequently stated he would never enter a relationship again. Then he got a girlfriend without telling me, and when he did share the news, it was very casual and not communicated well. Although he established boundaries during our situation, I secretly hoped it would evolve into a relationship. Am I the one in the wrong for cutting off communication? Oh, hey there. Just a quick heads up, your post was removed because it exceeded the 3,000 character limit. You can check that limit right here. So to get it back up, you'll need to rewrite it and keep it shorter. Just remember, you can't continue it in the comments or start a new thread, and honestly, don't use AI to fix it either. Once you edit it, it can't be reposted as is. Take a moment to read through the rules before you try again. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to the mods. Good luck. Am I the jerk for bringing food to my friend's party? I have a friend whom I will refer to as Steve. He is a great friend, but he is not a great host in some aspects. He throws fun and enjoyable parties, but there is one recurring problem: there is never enough food. For instance, during a recent game night, there were 10 other people in attendance besides Steve and his wife. He ordered 2 large pizzas and 1 small specialty pizza. Additionally, there was an order of garlic knots. The party was enjoyable, but after a couple of hours, I found myself still hungry and overheard another couple discussing getting food on their way home. At the next gathering, I offered to bring a dish with my wife, but he insisted he had the food covered. When we arrived, there was only enough pasta for everyone to have 1 serving. It really was not sufficient. I do not believe it is a matter of cheapness, as he always provides plenty of drinks. He generously shares his extensive liquor cabinet and always buys ample beer and wine. He also brings dishes for potlucks at other people's houses. For the following get-together, I suggested a potluck and some other friends agreed. On New Year's Eve, he hosted another party, but we ran out of snacks before midnight. A few people left to attend another party and he seemed annoyed, although I do not think he made the connection to the food issue. Finally, last weekend, he was hosting again. Instead of asking, I decided to bring a dish and some snacks. He appeared visibly annoyed but did not say anything. He was short with me and avoided interaction for most of the evening. The next day, he texted me, saying it was rude to bring food to someone else's house. I apologized, explaining that I was trying to be helpful and reminded him of how food had run out at previous gatherings. I suggested that his food estimation skills needed some improvement and that leftovers are not a bad thing. He did not respond and has not replied to any of my messages since. No way. It sounds like Steve really dropped the ball on hosting. I mean, when people leave a party early because there's not enough food, that's a big red flag. It's super important to have enough snacks and meals, otherwise guests are going to feel kind of let down. Honestly, it would have been way better to just have a direct chat with him about it before the event. Bringing food when you know he might not appreciate it. Yeah, that just adds to the tension. And if you knew it would be light on food, why not grab a little something beforehand? In the end, it seems like everyone could have handled this better. Learning from past experiences can really help, just like some families did when they realized their portions weren't sufficient. So next time, maybe just be upfront and save everyone the hassle. Am I the jerk for arguing with my roommate about an emotional support dog? I am a 20-year-old female currently in college, and I share an apartment with 3 other girls. My main roommate, who is 19 years old, enjoys inviting friends over to watch movies on the television that I purchased for our common area. I do not mind this because her friends are usually very polite, and I generally do not care. However, a few weeks ago, I returned to our apartment and was surprised to find a random dog inside. An important fact about me is that I am terrified of dogs due to a childhood incident where I was attacked. This fear applies to dogs of all sizes and temperaments. The dog in our apartment was small and sitting on our couch while my roommate was next to it watching a movie. I quickly ran to my room, avoiding the dog, and called one of my other roommates. She explained that a friend of my roommate had brought her dog over to watch movies in our common area. I had only seen my roommate when I entered the apartment, which confused me. I later learned that the friend had temporarily left the dog behind while she returned to her apartment to retrieve something she had forgotten. I was not comfortable with a random dog being in our apartment, but I assumed it was a one-time occurrence. Unfortunately, it happened again. This time, the friend was in our common area with my roommate, and her dog was running around the apartment. Feeling uncomfortable again, I chose to leave and decided to text my roommate after the friend left. I asked my roommate if she could give me a heads up when that friend comes over in the future. She asked why, and I explained that I am afraid of dogs and would prefer to be informed when something I fear is present in the apartment. My roommate became very angry with me and accused me of being ableist, stating that the dog is an emotional support animal. This accusation upset me, and I will admit that I lost my temper. I clarified that my concern was not about the emotional support animal, but rather about not being informed that something I am afraid of was in my living space. She continued to call me ableist and subsequently blocked me. Now she has begun telling our mutual friends that I dislike disabled people and that I am overreacting. I am starting to question whether I should have kept my feelings to myself. Should I apologize? You're not responsible for this, I mean really. You should definitely talk to your Raw about the mess. Honestly, your roommate is lacking empathy if she can't understand that being afraid of a dog is totally valid, especially if you've had bad experiences. And let's be real, ESAs aren't even covered by the Aita, so you're not in the wrong here at all. Plus, your roommates should have checked with everyone before bringing a dog into the apartment. A simple heads up would have been just common courtesy. If the dog is a support animal, it's kind of odd that the owner just left it behind. It's super important to respect each other's comfort levels in shared spaces, you know. Your feelings matter just as much as anyone else's. So don't hesitate to stand your ground on this. Am I the jerk for telling my relative that my boundaries are more important than their feelings? I recently cut off my parents after years of manipulative and controlling behavior. I was homeschooled and my parents were incredibly strict about what I read and watched. They would mark out books if they made them uncomfortable and even installed accountability software on my phone to track any texts or emails I received when I got my first phone at 19. I also have ulcerative colitis, which was so severe that I had to have my colon removed at 18. This caused me to fall behind on my schoolwork while I was bedridden. My parents called me lazy and accused me of not wanting to do my schoolwork because I was lying in bed with severe stomach pain, all while they restricted my diet, preventing me from getting proper nutrition. When I met my now wife, I eloped with her and did not tell my parents until after the fact. Even when we had my parents over, they made snide and rude remarks about my wife. She has never felt respected by them. Due to their past behavior, I recently cut off all contact with them. I told them that we deserved an apology and that our child should not witness their parents being disrespected. I left the door open for them to apologize and possibly mend the relationship. However, they claimed they had never done anything to apologize for. Recently, we found out we were expecting our second child. My paternal grandfather had previously expressed his support and love for us, which meant a lot to us. My aunt also lives with my grandfather for various reasons. When I informed them that we were expecting, they asked me to let them know when I told my parents. I had not informed anyone that I had cut off my parents. My aunt later texted me asking if I had told them. I explained why I had not. She then expressed that she did not appreciate being put in an awkward position and that it was my responsibility to inform my parents. I told her that I had set boundaries and felt that a text would violate my no-contact boundary. She asked if I would want to know if my parents died, and I responded that I would not. She claimed that I was not showing grace while my family was showing it to me, stating that they loved me and that I was deluding myself if I thought otherwise. I told her that I want the relationship with my parents restored, but that cannot happen until the conditions outlined in the letter I sent when I cut them off are met. She said I was offending her and did not appreciate my refusal to send a simple text because of a boundary. So Reddit, am I the antagonist? It sounds like your family really needs a reality check. Honestly, this isn't about their feelings at all. You've every right to share your news without worrying about their awkwardness. It's great that you want to maintain a relationship with them, but they should understand that you come first here. They can't just make everything about themselves, you know. Just remind them that you're sharing your life, not looking for their approval. You've done nothing wrong by speaking up. Keep focusing on what's a big deal to you. You're totally justified in wanting to set those boundaries. So stay strong. Am I the jerk? My sibling wanted to use my child's leukemia relapse as sympathy bait for help with yard cleanup. My daughter was diagnosed with B-cell acute lymphoblastic leukemia when she was 3 years old. She is now 8. Last week, we found out that her leukemia has relapsed. We have been in the hospital for a week, and we have 3 weeks left if all goes well. My friend started a GoFundMe for us because she knows that the loss of income during my daughter's first diagnosis really hurt us. I am still on disability from my job because of the post-traumatic stress disorder I struggle with from her first diagnosis. We live in an addition to my husband's mother's house, who passed away a couple of years ago. My husband has 2 younger sisters who own the home along with him. A month ago, there was a severe ice storm that damaged many trees on the property. One of his sisters has been stressed about getting the trees cleaned up, but we have been busy with doctor's appointments and hospital visits. Recently, she messaged my husband and me and said, "I am about to put a shameless appeal on Facebook asking for some help with the yard tomorrow. I am going to use your daughter's situation to gain sympathy." I felt uncomfortable with this and casually asked her not to exploit my daughter's illness in such a cavalier way. I told her this really doesn't sit well with me, and she responded with "too late," meaning she had already posted it. My husband called her to ask if there was any way she could take it down because it made us feel strange. She reacted strongly, saying it was no different than us having a GoFundMe, and accused us of being selfish. She eventually agreed to take it down, but ended the phone call by saying, "I'll remember this when you need help," and hung up. A day or two later, she sent him another text saying she heard from their mutual sister that she had sent that message at a bad time for us, but she still did not understand why she could not use the situation as a form of charity. My point is that she is my daughter. I am the one paying for a hotel because the Ronald McDonald House has no available space. I arranged for a friend to take care of our dogs and asked an acquaintance to check in on my cat every day since we have to stay in the city where the hospital is, which is 2.5 hours away from home. I am the one who brushed her hair today and dealt with the emotional impact of her hair loss. I am the one who had to set aside my pride and ask my husband's other sister, not the one I am upset with, to take care of my 2.5-year-old daughter because we realized it is too difficult to have a toddler in a hospital room. So I ask, am I wrong for not wanting a family member to exploit my child's cancer for a yard cleanup, especially since she hardly spends any time with her? Thank you for reading. You're not responsible for this. I mean, your sister-in-law sounds really out of touch. It's one thing to ask for help with bills, but going behind your back to clean up the yard. That totally crosses a line. Honestly, her posting about it is just wrong, especially when you're dealing with something so serious. She knows that what she's doing is selfish and manipulative. The fact that she's unapologetic, yeah, that says it all. You can't control how others act, but you can definitely stand your ground. If that post is still up, it might be worth commenting that you could really use a hand with yard work right now. Let her know this isn't okay and that she should take it down. Your family deserves respect, especially during tough times. Am I the jerk for not being there enough for my grieving friend even though I was trying to respect their space? I have been friends with another woman for a little over 2 years. I am 34 years old and autistic. One thing I have been working on is understanding social cues better and respecting boundaries, especially since I have accidentally overstepped in the past and caused harm by pushing too much when someone needed space. Last fall, she called me one morning. I did not see the call until about 5 hours later because I was out of town and busy. When I texted her after I saw it, she informed me that her sibling's partner had passed away. I was heartbroken for her. I asked if she wanted me to call or if she needed anything, and she told me she was busy. So I did not push. Since she is someone who usually wants space when going through something heavy, such as past breakups or stressful situations, I tried to follow her lead. I checked in every few days with short messages, letting her know I was thinking of her and that I cared. I asked a few times if she needed anything or wanted to talk, and she always said no or that she was okay. Over time, I felt her pulling away. A month later, I checked in, and she said she was still grieving but doing better. I asked again if she needed anything from me, and she said no. In February, the distance felt even stronger, so I called and asked to talk. That is when she told me she was really hurt and felt that I was not there for her when she needed me. She expressed that she thought I would have just called or shown up and that she should not have had to ask. I was caught off guard. I told her I was trying to be respectful of her space and follow what she told me. She said it felt like I did not care, even though that was not my intention at all. We had 2 emotional conversations about it. I apologized, told her I cared deeply and would have dropped everything for her if she had said, "I need you." I also explained that I do not always pick up on cues and really do rely on people to be direct with me. She asked for space again and I gave it. I checked in last week and she eventually replied with a voice note saying she did not want to be close friends anymore. She felt too hurt by how I handled everything. I am heartbroken. I really tried to be there in the way I thought she needed by giving her space and checking in gently. I would have done anything if she had told me directly. I care about her a lot and never meant to make her feel alone. So am I the antagonist? Honestly, you're not responsible for this. I mean, she could have just asked you for support instead of playing games. It's not even her partner who died, so her focus should really be on her sibling. You reached out a few times and she said she didn't need anything, right? So that means she didn't need anything. If she wanted help, she could have suggested going out for a chat. It's kind of suspicious that she expected you to read her mind, especially knowing you struggle with social cues. It sounds like she's trying to guilt you when you did nothing wrong. Just because she's emotional doesn't mean you have to guess what she wants. Seriously, put this behind you. You tried to give her the space she asked for. If anyone is in the wrong here, it's her. Thanks for watching. When you subscribe, make sure to hit the bell to turn on notifications so you never miss a video. To finish listening to all the stories, check out the playlist in the description.